Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Let's Talk Real Life with Ms. Nada Manning. I'm your co-host, Coach Vernon Garrison, and as always, we love to see you smile, as well as listen to Austin Radio, WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 on your AM dial. That's right. Thank you for listening to the show. We'd like you to like, share, and subscribe to YouTube channel, which will be Awesome Radio YouTube. Also, like, share, and subscribe on our Facebook, if you will. That's Awesome Radio Facebook. And our partner in the community, GPAT23, Facebook, and YouTube. Well, as always, we got a powerful, powerful show for you. And we hope you listen as much as possible. Get involved, disagree, agree, find yourself wrapped up in this real life conversation. Without further delay, here's the real life conversationalist, the best teacher on the planet, Miss Nada Manning.
Hello. Good evening. Good morning. Hello, everyone. We are very, very pleased to be back with you this week as we continue with living single as wounded fathers. We're going to continue with that. Father's Day coming up this coming Sunday. And I do hope that this will be some very important, appropriate information that we share with you as we approach this Father's Day weekend. Very, very important weekend for those of you who are out there experiencing fatherhood for the first time. I say congratulations to you if you're coming up to be a dad or any day now or sometime this year or your first time dad. I say touche is going to be a world-changing experience for you. A happy experience, I dare say, very challenging, but I want to say this up front. First thing, happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there. Grandfathers, pops, whatever you call yourselves, granddad, all that. Happy Father's Day to each and every one of you. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I want to say that up front because by the time we finish with this conversation, I might not have time to say it. So let me say it now. And if I have a moment at the end, I'll say it again. Happy Father's Day. My heart goes out to each and every one of you, both near and far. God bless you as you continue with your fatherhood. And so now I want to step back a minute to last week. There seemed to have been some misunderstanding, for lack of a better word, some words said or tone used or however way you want to put it. And I want the opportunity to dress it up. And I did take some notes, so you will see me looking down a minute or two because I want to reflect back. Yes, I did write down or listen to and type out the recording because I didn't want to miss anything. I'm trying not to anyway. One comment that was made, we were talking about fathers in general. And apparently I gave the impression, and I take ownership, I gave the impression that I was not giving all the fathers, all of their props, all that they deserve. I was putting all the fathers in one basket. I should not have done that. So my apologies for that because all fathers are not in one basket. You have different portions of the basket. There's a basket for fathers, yes, but all fathers don't fit in the same compartment of the basket. So saying that to say, apparently, how can I put this? The indication was that all fathers are not capable of being fathers, as opposed to mothers or moms being capable of being moms. That was not the intent of the statement. Certainly, there are fathers out there that are very much capable and have demonstrated so of being a good father. And then the other subject came up about whether or not he could hold his own. Can he carry the weight all by himself? And I said at that time, in my opinion, I don't think he can carry it by himself any length of time. Let's put it that way. By himself, meaning I think some assistance might be needed there somewhere. I think by nature, a mother, most moms can change a diaper, can change a pamper. They call them pampers these days, but they can change the bottom of a baby and put something clean on them, clean them up real good. Most moms can do that. There are some mothers that don't know how to do that. So let me say that. I think in comparison, though, as opposed to a father doing that, many of them are completely oblivious because they don't have that natural instinct of doing such. We mothers learn it most times. If we have siblings, we learn it from our mothers with our siblings. We see that coming up. At least I did anyway. That's how I learned. Most boys, when they're coming up, don't pay any attention to what mom is doing with their brother, their sister, and changing a diaper. So they are not pretty much shown what to do when it comes to changing a diaper. That's just one thing about being a father. Braiding hair and all that kind of stuff, or combing it and fixing it up, putting it in ponytail. It's just a number of things, but that does not mean that the father can't learn. He has to be willing to learn. And I believe last time the statement was made that, or indicated that the fathers can do as well, do just as much as the mother can, and perhaps so. But I think it depends on what's going on with the baby as to how the father can handle it. The baby may have some medical condition. Can the father learn how to do that? Of course he can learn how to do it. Is he willing to learn? Is he going to take time and slow down long enough to learn? Perhaps, and perhaps not. So saying all that to say, I did not want to walk away from this wounded fatherness, leaving some open-ended wounds from something that was said here on the show. So that's why I wanted to do a little bit of recap. And then the truth be told, are men really made to be moms? Are they being taught to be a mother? Are we mothers raising our sons up to be single dads? Because remember, the whole show is about living single. Living single. And I don't want us to lose sight of that. It's all about living single as a wounded father, living single as a wounded mom. Same thing. It's living single means you're going to have to handle things because you don't have that other parent around to help, to assist. What else was it?
Can I address that before you go to the next issue? Yeah. Let's. We got time. We got time. I want to go all the way back, and you done gone 3 issues back. Yeah.
Well, if you promise not to take up a whole lot of time.
No, I won't. Now, what I was saying was wounded fathers can do just as good as wounded mothers. I wasn't challenging the fact that fathers could raise kids. In a lot of statistics, fathers are better parents and teachers in a lot of more categories than women are. So we talked about that on another show. We teach.
We talked about that.
Right.
We talked about that last week.
So when it comes to what you were saying that they can learn, sure. But I was talking about broken fathers can do just as good as a broken job as a wounded mother. That's all I was saying. We just because okay, it's 2 things. I was a guardian ad litem for 6 years for people who don't know. So I'm not taking up time on spitting facts. If a child has a parent that's gay and they live with 2 moms or 2 dads, that doesn't say anything about whether that child is going to choose to be gay. or bisexual. Uh, if a dad is raising a child, that doesn't say that that child is going to be any better or worse than it would be a single mom.
Right.
That yeah, so that's what I was saying. That both of them people are equal, not that men. You just said you want to make sure we knew that men could be single parents. Oh, that's old news. We got this, and we'll have the same challenges, but slightly different. But as to whether men are conditioned, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, are conditioned socially to be able to raise children and change diapers, that's because you don't want the man to change the diaper. Society is not expecting me to change the baby, to take care of the baby.
Let's back
So
up.
so now you got a situation where you're not expecting men. So the role of a father, there we go. The social role of a father does not include that nurturing part because we're expected socially to go be providers. And now you got women that are saying, we got, and I don't want to move past this point too fast. So we got to slow down. You got women that are saying, we're expected to go to work and nurture the children. No, 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 no. That's what society's done to us. Change the whole thing. I need to babysit. A man needs to hold his child. When my granddaughter was born, and that baby started crying, and we were all holding the baby, and she started crying. Everybody's like, give the baby back to his mama. No, get a baby to his to daddy. Let my son start right now nurturing that. This is the God knows truth. I said that. Let my son start right now while the baby is an hour and a half years old. Hour and a half years old. That was funny. While she was an hour and a half old, let him start nurturing that child. But no, the mother is gonna step in and she, come on, man, they're gonna be
I,
so close. They're
I,
gonna be breastfeeding, so we're not expecting men to do it. So you can't come back and gaslight and say we can't do it when you haven't been a part. We haven't been doing it, and you haven't put us in that role.
you are continuing to say
Yeah.
that I'm saying what men cannot do. You
What?
keep saying that. I have not said
Well,
that.
you just said we need help in there, and we have special situations, and I'm telling you why we are not equipped to do that is because we're not expected to
That does
be
not
taking.
mean
If
that
most of the time, I gotta say this. Most of the time, parents used to say, when you go to court, you go to family court. Traditionally, throughout the years, who gonna get the child? The mama. Well, now when you go to court, it ain't so pretty no more. Dads get more childs, more family than they used to because a man can do and is expected to do for that child and come home and pick that child up from school and all of those things. All right. That's what I was saying.
okay. Um, I am glad that the courts have changed the cycle on putting these men in place to or these fathers in place um, to handle their business, to be involved with the child's life. Very much so. Truth be told, we all know that there are some moms out there, mothers out there, that really are not doing a good job with those children. And yes, the men, the fathers, for the most part, are going to be the ones, should be the ones to take on the responsibility more because, as anything else that goes on in society with these parent families and things, the children get caught in the middle. So, of course, back in the day, they used to say that, yes, the baby goes to the mom. And, you know, for whatever reason, the dad is not whatever. The mom is putting whatever is going on in the situation. So now I'm hearing you say that the courts have reversed that for the
Well,
most part, or
no, that more
beginning
inclusive
to.
of the whole family rather than just that woman getting the child.
Right. And I think that's a very good thing to do because it does take a village to raise a child. It should not all be left on the mom. Even if it's a good mom, even if she is the one of the quote unquote better moms in society, she should not be carrying that whole load by herself.
Co-parenting right now is really huge.
Well, and that's great. That is great. That is good news. Um, I think that overall, if that's going to be the case, both parents are going to be responsible and held responsible, whether they want to be or not, to hold their end. Because at the end of the day, it's about the child developing to be a whole person, if any way possible, to be more focused, to be more productive, because the psychological and emotional issues that develop from that is not good when the parents are squabbling and one get the child and the other one don't get to see him. All that's just doing nothing but affecting that baby. And we all know that. That's real life. So as far as something was said also that was disqualifying them from raising children, which is pretty much what we were just saying. Now, another thing that was brought up, a man got to have somebody like a woman or whoever to help him, that he can't do it by himself. Like I think I said a few minutes ago, a man is not made to raise the children. It should be both parents. He's not made to raise the children, not saying he can't, but he's not built inside mentally and emotionally to be the one to raise the children by himself. Now, it does not mean he can't do it, but for the most part, as you had mentioned earlier, it has been said that there are some men, not all men, there are some men that can do a better job at raising the children than the mother can. Okay? I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that, because the man does things with the child that the mother does not do, and vice versa. That's why it should be both parents involved, so that the child can get a whole picture, the whole round from both sides of everything, to get the whole thing that's coming to the child like it should be. So having somebody, what else did I say? Sometimes, what is a man got to have somebody, but a woman don't have to have somebody. That's what was said last time, which was not what was indicated. That's what's got to be out of it, or something that was said to that order. Sometimes we are in rare form, and when I say that, all of us, both men and women, we are in rare form, meaning while we are trying to be the best of the best, we begin to feel some kind of way. Who does it affect? The child, as always. It affects the child. That does not mean that man, that father, cannot do a good job. Going back to that part, I just keep zooming in on that, because I don't want any father out there to see or hear Miss Manning saying that the father can't be a good dad. That's not what I'm saying at all. You can do the best and go out there and put your best foot forward at anything you can do, but being a father is going to be is a very, very challenging position to be in, but it can be done. It's something that will affect the next person.
Let me ask you this, along the same point that you're talking about. How many less abortions would we have under these two situations? I will say this, and this might turn Gen Z off when I say this word. They might go tone deaf. Back in the day, when your child, and I mean 14, 15, 16 years old, sometimes 8 and 9-year-old little girls had children, the people would take that child and raise them. So they would disqualify that little girl from raising that child, and that child would go to a family, and they would raise that child. Eventually, and I wish I had numbers on this, you guys could look them up. As time goes by, you have abortions start to rise in the community. Well, if children, young people that had babies, could count on the dad to raise a child, then there would have been a lot more men. Men would have grown up quicker, knowing the expectation. You sleep with her, you get a child, you're gonna raise it, or you're gonna make sure that that baby is raised. As soon as that girl is pregnant, she read that little meter that says, and I'm about to hit a home run here as far as stirring up stuff. As soon as that thing says she pregnant, she think she the only one that gonna make that decision whether to keep that baby. So I go back to my question. How? And then there's a lot of discussion I hear that goes on. I've never been in that situation, so I'm not an authority on that conversation between the male and the female when she tell the man, "Hey, are we pregnant?" She either say we pregnant or she say I pregnant. I'm pregnant. What we gonna do with the baby? And she has a final say so of whether she gonna get an abortion or not. Now I'm not saying some men don't get involved, but if she didn't want the child and men were expected to take care of a baby that they created, and the woman was expected to be inclusive of that man who she allowed to impregnate her, then you got a lot more children that's not unalived and that are born kings and queens, even under detrimental, challenging circumstances. The baby will have another 50% more chance of life than getting an abortion just because that girl's family is embarrassed and don't want her to carry a child. So I just asked that question. How many more men and women on this planet would be if men played a better role as responsible fathers and men were expected to be responsible fathers and they had a family support? If they were irresponsible fathers, they could take these children in. Some of the people, some of our Caucasian brothers and sisters specialized, and when they got the little girl pregnant, they would send her away to another family till she had that child. I think maybe black did it too. I don't have. I'm not staking my claim on who did it the most, but that child's life was spared. Me myself, survivor of three abortion attempts, and I'm still here. What would this worth be like without me?
They will still survive without you.
Well, you know what? No, it wouldn't. No, it would not.
The world would be really just fine without Vernon Garrison.
I don't think so. We got a problem, Houston. I'm about to get kicked off the show. But yeah, so just narrating and decorating what you were talking about with fathers, all of this is social construct. All of this is how we interpret the word of God as to how we set up our families and how we set up our tribes in the communities. And to be honest with you, to me, I'm gonna go deep now so some people can really feel me and they can love me or hate me. It's about our multicultural mix as to how we feel about families. See, American, African, melanated people, and some are indigenous to this continent, I believe, we have a totally different sense of family. We don't see family as marriage as money or a financial institution. Some cultures here do. Now we're about to see we saw families, big families. We, love. There's children. There's youngins everywhere. Sex happens. Children happen. But now it seems like we're putting a price on the child's head. It costs $300,000 to raise a child. Stop that madness. That's ridiculous. But society is measured in terms of numbers now and whether you can afford to have a child. Some of these people had, and I don't know how it was done, maybe faith in God. Some folks, and you know maybe more than I do, some people had 12 children and raised them all, not a single one starved. now a child get pregnant, a person get pregnant, and I've begged some young people, you need to have another baby. You need to have another baby. When are you going to have a baby? And they look at you like you crazy. I try to warn people about having a single child. They're not listening. You're gonna have emptiness. You're gonna be lonely as I don't know what because you only had one. They're not feeling it.
I have something to say when you're talking about suggesting that this young mother about having another baby. Are you talking to a couple? When
No, no, it
you
was
talking
like
about talking to one young lady.
yeah, irresponsible.
When are you going to have another baby? My question to that, if you ask me that
Oh, you
question,
talking about couples? Yes,
when,
couples. Yes, when you talking about that, yes, couples.
when you say you need to have another baby or you need to have
Yeah,
a baby, you're talking to couples.
yeah, yeah. I usually tell them to go ahead and start having a family so that they
Okay.
can have a life. As some of the, if one or all of the children start to get older. But they're
Okay.
waiting until their 30s and all of that kind of stuff to start having children. When does the financial marker determine when life is to be brought into this world? If you really want to know the facts, life can be brought into this world every night. You jump in that bed. So now you're trying to tell me it's about numbers?
Yeah.
Now it's
Okay.
about numbers if you make it about numbers, yeah. If you ain't gonna work to feed them, yeah.
Okay. I think we've said enough about what we were saying from last time. We are halfway through here. So
Uh-huh.
let me just bring up a couple of more topics. Um, has nothing to do with last week. It's a continuation of these father wounds, though.
Yeah.
Um, we just touched on it a little bit, though, just now about the challenges of intimacy and relationships, which has a lot to do with the what you just said on these babies. There are challenges in intimacy and how it will flourish. We're still talking about uh, living single. We're talking about wounded fathers. And all of those who are paying close attention to us can understand that this woundedness is for both mother and father. Um,
Yeah.
the challenges of with intimacy and relationships. Along with that comes some type of anger. We get some anger that builds up from that intimacy. It's all lovey dovey and close. I can't do without you for a while. And then after a while, something goes wrong. Some type of something flares up from the past, perhaps. We're talking about woundedness. Something triggers it. Somebody said something or somebody did something, and it triggers that past in that person's mind. We're talking about fathers, though. But understand it could be mother and father here. But as we talk about wounded fathers, and because we have put them, and rightfully so, they have a place in society. Fathers, not wounded ones, but fathers. They have a place in society. The wounded ones are touched with these challenges of built up anger from whatever it was way back. Somebody did something to me, and I have not forgotten it. I'm trying to forget it and may have forgotten it temporarily. I'm trying to think of a scenario where something would trigger it. Somebody may have said something the wrong way, said something about their, well, something as, I won't say it's innocent, I won't say it's simple, but something like talking about one's parent. As adults, we wouldn't let that bother us. Some of us would not let that bother us as much as it would have when we were younger. When we in high school and elementary school or middle school, those school age, don't be talking about my mama. Somebody say something, that's why your mama do it, whatever they say. That hurts that child and it flares up something. I don't think those type of incidents are forgotten over the years as that person grows older. That son, that little boy that heard somebody say something about his parent. That's why your daddy on drugs and all the mean stuff that children say today. Some of them don't mean any harm because they're just children. But to the person that's hearing it and it touches something in them, that child don't know if it's true or not. When they said it, they're just teasing. That's what children do. They tease one another. But some of that teasing does not go away when they get older. It's still a touchy subject when they become grown men. They become wounded. I just said that as an example of being wounded, talking about his parent. Maybe his parent wasn't the best parent. Maybe his parent did something that was terrible and left a mark on him. He has not forgotten it, but there are times when the father, he tries to forget. He tries to let it go so he can move on. But for whatever reason, something triggers him and he goes off. He gets angry. He gets bitter. Whoever that woman is that he's with, whether it's his wife or his girlfriend, she don't know what all that was about. All of a sudden, he's blowing up. He's a different person. She's trying to find out what's wrong. What's the matter? What happened to you? Sometimes he'll open up, depends on how close he is with her. Sometimes he'll open up and tell her the truth. And other times, he shuts it off. He shuts down. That's when some men go off somewhere. You'll go to be to themselves and just give me a moment. I got to have a moment here. I'll talk to you later. And so she's standing there wondering what in the world. But he's been all out of shape and he's full of anger. Some men take it out on the woman. She don't know what's wrong. Why are you going up against me? And some men just walk away. Some men just stay still, but they're quiet. They stay in the house, but they're quiet. They don't have nothing to say. All of a sudden, they don't want to talk. They don't want to be bothered. They don't have anything to say about anything. They're wounded. And some of them get so bitter and they carry it on year after year after year, year after year. You get bits and pieces of what's wrong with them. And I mean bits and pieces. And you got to keep up in order to keep the puzzle pieces together so you can, after a while, you can get a big picture. Oh, so that's what happened to you. But sometimes that can take years. And that takes the patience, the love, and caring spirit of that woman to stick with that wounded man. It's hard for her to stick with him if she don't know what's going on. She don't understand. So she began to maybe do some research of her own. Go, if his parents are still around, go find the mama or the daddy or the brother or the sister or the uncle or the auntie. Find somebody, your best friend, to give me what's wrong with him. Can you tell me what's going on? A little something to help me understand. She may go to that extreme, but then she have to be careful in doing that because the wounded person might be so bent out of shape and the word get back to him that she's been doing all of this. Well, you won't tell me anything. I care about you and I want to find out what's going on with you. You won't tell me anything. How can I live with you if you steady going off at the blink of an eye? It makes it very difficult. So that wounded man, at some point, if he cares enough for that woman, I think he will open up eventually. And maybe it's to him, maybe he can just give it out bits and pieces, just a little bit here and a little bit there. But she have to be attentive enough to be able to put those pieces together. Yep. And if he's willing to talk about it, you know, myself, I would say, okay, I would say, okay, Lord, I'm going to pray about it. I said, Lord, I want to find out what's going on with this guy. And I need you to help me to approach him in a very, very soft, loving way and open his heart and my heart and let us kind of talk this thing out. That's what Miss Manning would do. Everybody is not Miss Manning.
let me jump in here. And this is
Keep
a situation here where I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I can't tell you how I get because, anyway, because I can't tell you why I get that way. But I think women don't know how to ask. Women
That's what I
ask.
just said.
I think women.
That's what I just said
Yeah,
about me, myself.
there's two
Pray
ways.
about it and show me how I supposed to, because you
Yeah,
can't approach every man the
yeah.
same way.
Let me share it with you. That's right. You can. But I do think in a lot of ways, women don't know what to ask and how to ask. It's two things. Women know and should always know. We say this like every month that men are broken in a sense of just being on this earth by ourselves and fulfilling God's will. It can't be done. So God had to expand life however he did it when he brought Eve in the picture. So you already know there's something wrong. So in order to get into a man's uh, mind and his world, there's two ways you can enter. You can enter through the information you already know. Well, I know about this, and I know this, and I know that. There's some type of interrogation of the bits and pieces that you put together. You can enter in saying, well, I know about that over there, and I know about that, and it can be somewhat accusatory. Well, a man is like a child in a sense with vulnerability because he's got to, one, have a mask of social norms and how men carry themselves. He got to do that. He can't just necessarily wimp out. And then he got his social respect that he got to keep because if he loses your trust and he loses your respect, you might well say you gone. So when women can come at a man through that lens, through that avenue of investigating and asking when they already know something's wrong by putting the pieces that they have together, when what you should do is just leave that out.
Leave it out.
Yeah, you don't know anything. You got to
Oh,
start from I don't know, and I'm not really concerned about what I know,
okay.
and I'm concerned about what you want me to know. So you got to get out of yourself. You want me to tell you what B is, and you got A and C just to make you like some type of game show. I know why you did that because you had this going on, just like in mistrust situations. You was over there because of her. That's why you over there for. You got assumptions, and some of those assumptions are right. You went there because you like this. You went over there because they drink. You say you ain't drink. So that's the part right there that you can choose that investigatory style. If you're trying to get a criminal to confess, you can play Mutt and Jeff. You can choose your style of interrogation. You can play the nice guy. You could, but so the style that you choose, a lot is emotional, and it's based on what you know. I say I'm a certified mediator. The best way to get someone to tell you what's on their mind is to wipe your mind clean and say, "Hey, what's going on? What do you need me to know? What do we need to know in order to go somewhere?" And that way, every time he says something, you won't go somewhere in your mind. I knew it. I knew it. One of the best things I've seen on social media is when there's a young boy and a young girl, or young man and a young woman, sitting down talking, and the guy's saying, "You, yeah, I don't know, I just don't understand what happened," and the girl will say, "You can tell me." I'd rather for you to be honest. That way it'll be out in the open. I won't get mad. And the guy will say, "You won't get mad?" No, because I know that what you're going to tell me is really going to be truthful. And I'd rather have you be honest and then have it out on the table and we're going to be fine afterwards. And the guy says again, "So you sure you're not going to be mad?" Oh my goodness. Next thing the guy says, "Oh, okay. All right. I slept with her." What do you think happens after he says that?
She probably blew up.
Bam, 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 bam. You son of a ba 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 ba.
And you are saying, the man is saying, but you just told me to be honest with you. And this is what I get for being honest.
Well, I'd say you have to find yourself in a place to whether you can handle the truth. And you have to ask yourself why you want to know the truth about this man. And if you are genuine and you really want to work on his issue, you really want to work on his issue and what his issue is, then you will definitely ask in the right motive. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
And therefore, when he does say something and you've created this space, then you're not even in the position to show some type of retribution or judge what he's saying or this, that, and that, because you asked for it. And then you're gonna see a tear in his eye. And then he's going to maybe do a full confession as to whatever you thinking is going on. You're you're not gonna be pressing charges. Or if you're pressing charges, you're saying, okay, now we got all of this out in the open. How do we get past this? Because you just opened the whole floor for a resolution. I've sat down with as much as 24 people. One man was cheating with that many women, and they all got him. They all surrounded his house over there in Farmville. Oh Lord, so I'm sorry. They surrounded his house and they were going to beat him up. And the law enforcement, we did a mediation. This was years and years and years and years ago. We did a mediation, and all those women had to say, and he's sitting next to me, and all of those women that he betrayed had their say in how he hurt them. And I made sure that everybody had a safe position to speak. You create a safe place for a man. He ain't got nothing he's not that deep. And there's the things that he is that deep on, you can read them. And all you got to do is fill his belly full of food and hold him close to your heart. He'll tell you what he need to know. So I'm gonna just go on a limb and assume that most women don't know what's going on in men's minds. It's because you want to be in control and you want to pull out that information when you want it out. And he probably wants to tell you, and the behavior is right there in front of you. But you think you want these I got you moments. That's what you want. You thrive off a game show. You got 10,000 bonus points, and now you got them. I knew it.
I think you ought to
Yeah.
start saying some women.
Yeah, I think I should too.
Right. Because all women don't fall in that category.
No, they don't. They don't. They just don't say anything. Then they go tell their girlfriend. But you know what my husband did?
Some
he did
some
that.
women, not all women. Not all women do that.
Oh, boy.
And I'm sure there are some women out there listening to us can agree with me. All women don't go off yeah.
And I think you are. Yeah, I think you are right. And I think that I can stand corrected in that aspect.
I know
but I
I'm
would
right.
say this: the women that do, you act like you don't know why that man is not talking or why his behavior has changed. You're lying. You do know your behavior changed. Your behavior changed. And now you trying to gaslight him and thinking that he changed your behavior. Stop it.
Okay.
It's both of y'all's responsibility on that behavior. Both. Yeah.
Having said that, I want to cover.
Cover something because I'm a mute for a second. Go ahead and cover. I'm gonna still be able to hear you though. Go ahead.
Okay. Neglect. We're talking about emotional neglect. I want to go over something that I read an article on, and it's most pertinent to what we are saying right now. Men and women, woundedness. Okay. The article I found to be very, very informative. Women know how to love, but not who. This is challenging challenges with intimacy and relationships, which is what I just mentioned. Men know how to love, but not how. Who? I'm sorry. Let me say that again. Women know how to love, but not who to love. Men know who to love, but not how to love. You see, a woman will put everything she has into a man who hasn't even deserved it yet. She'll see his potential. She'll love him through the version of himself who he hasn't even built. She stay too long. She'll give too much. She'll forgive what she shouldn't, because women are taught how to love without conditions and never taught how to choose without emotion. And by the time she realizes the man wasn't worth the woman she had to become to hold him down, okay, all those years are already gone. Meanwhile, a man could pick up a woman from across the corner within seconds. He knows. Trust me, he knows. He always knows. He sees her loyalty, her standards, her peace, her presence, and picks her out in without any hesitation. The problem is he doesn't know what to do to keep her, to get her. He don't know what to do with her. What? Let me finish. Let me.
You know you got me on this.
Let me finish. No,
I want you to finish.
The problem is he doesn't know what to do with her once he has her. He wasn't taught how to show love, how to communicate, how to stay long enough to actually let her in. He protects himself by withholding the very small thing that would have actually kept her the whole time. He picks her right. He picks right and loves wrong. She loves right now. He picks right but loves wrong. She loves right but picked wrong. And both of them spent a lifetime hurting or being hurt by something that was never the lack of love. It was the lack of training, which is what we're talking about. You see, most relationships don't fail because the love wasn't there. They fail because nobody taught either one of them what to do once they showed up. In other words, you don't know, I don't know. We don't know how to do it. We know we care for one another, but somehow or another, it goes south because you don't know what to do with the woman when you got her. You got her right in your hand. And you don't know what to do with her. She don't know. She got you in her hand, but she don't know how to go about keeping on to you. So it's like a tug of war.
So go ahead. The most influential person in a relationship is not the man.
Right.
Everybody
I know that, but look,
and I'm welcoming everybody to disagree with me. Okay, I'm not that prideful. You're telling me that when you get the wrong choice, then your choice is to leave.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's what happens.
If you don't know what to do, then you will either stand still or step back. If you don't know, you don't know.
Then you step back and you start picking again. But if we stay together,
work it out.
But women, I'm yelling in my own house, and like I got this mic in my phone. But what you're saying is that part of the emotion. I think God gave that to a woman to manage that. So now you're making decisions on that quicker than men do. Now, a man might go cheap, but a man definitely ain't walking out on a hot meal in a house in a bed. So, notwithstanding the fact that he cheated, a woman can go cheat, and as soon as she cheats, and as soon as that woman sees, and I'm not saying all women, but as soon as that woman sees opportunity, she's gone emotionally and she's still married. So
Okay.
here's where the disconnect is with the both people have not been taught. That's what I heard you say.
That's
Both
right.
people don't know the answer. Now the choice is not the woman to leave, because she gonna keep going to try to find the tough guys, the bad boys, the sex guys. She
Sometimes,
gonna run off down the street.
not
What good did
everybody.
that do? Not
Not
everybody, but most of the time, and that has been happening in the last 20 years.
maybe
But
so,
right,
but you
but
cannot
the
put everybody in the same
no,
category.
I'm not. I'm just saying that seems to be the voice characteristic of today.
Okay.
The divorce era is that the women, and I've seen statistics to say that the women have been making these choices to leave the marriage because they stayed too long and made the wrong choice. And you just said that. So
Yeah.
let's just use that. The answer is not to leave,
Right.
because you're not going to do any better. Now, here, let's go back to the father. If you leave, Lord, we about out of time. If
I
you
want to say my last point, but you won't. I'm trying to get that in.
we
If
get
you,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Because
because
we gotta get back to this.
we running time. We running out of time. Let's talk in summary. In summary, raising a boy into manhood.
Yeah.
If you want to raise a boy with responsibility, you've got to put him to work. This is from a little boy now.
Yeah.
You can't treat him like a king. Spoiling a boy just turns him into a man child.
Yeah.
But when you use him, make him help.
Praise God.
Give him task,
Come on.
T-A-S-K, task. That's when he becomes the pillar of the family.
Yeah.
Boys' hands are meant for work, not for sticking in their pockets. The more they use them, the stronger they get. The more they use their brain, the sharper they become. Let him around the house, have him carry things, clean his own room. He is capable of doing that. Don't do it for him. Do not do it for him. Give him chores to do. The more he works, the more responsibility he'll take on. The more challenges he faces, the faster he'll grow. Get him into action, whether it's sports or something competitive. That's how you build his character. Mom gives him love. Dad gives him direction. Together, they give him the foundation to grow.
Come on.
Amen. Today, he can carry a small task. Tomorrow, he'll be able to carry an entire family. So it starts at that point. That's what I wanted to close with, and saying how that boy can be raised once he's big enough to start doing anything. He can carry anything. Let him carry a can to the trash can, a soda can or something to the trash.
Come on.
Give him something to do to show him. And after a while, he be saying, well, I can take that over to the trash can, Mom or Dad. Give it to me. There you go. That's how it starts. He don't just sit there and sit the can on the floor and leave it on the floor. Pick that can up and go put it in the trash can.
Come on.
That's what we have to do as parents.
Come on.
Not baby them. It's not cute when they're doing stuff like that. That's not pleasing. Don't be praising them when they don't deserve the praise.
Oh my God. Oh, we got a lot to talk about.
So I just wanted to say that, and Coach, we can continue on, but I wanted to get that part out because Father's Day will be upon us before we meet again.
Yeah.
This is coming up this Sunday. So I wanted to get that part out, especially with these new dads that I mentioned earlier in the show. What I just said about raising that little boy is very, very good information. I raised two of them. Yeah. And they both can cook and clean just as good as I did by the time they were 12. Yeah. Because they were tall enough to reach the sink. You can wash the dishes. It's all right for a boy to wash dishes. You might end up having to wash them anyway when you get grown. You don't know if you're going to have a wife that's going to help you in the kitchen or not. You can get in there and do some things, but you have to be taught. But my mom didn't show me how to put the dishes away.
You're doing good. We better get off.
Huh?
I said we better get off because you killing it now. Good job. I'm like.
Well, anyway, folks, we just want to say praise God for this time. And at this moment, Coach, since it's Father's Day coming up, Would you please pray us out?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to I let iron sharpen iron, or all of us sharpen each other. And we ask that you protect and guide everyone that has listened. Let them listen with an open heart and open mind, and let us finally seek you and get things right with you, God. So bless our teacher here, this talk show, and all the other talk shows on WECU 107.5 FM. Awesome radio. Look forward to seeing you next time, ladies and gentlemen. We love you to life. Amen. Coach Garrison signing off. You guys have a blessed rest of your day.
Good night, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Happy Father's Day.